Hi, Knights of North Castle. My name is Armorer John, and I hope that everybody is ready for another great adventure. Have you seen my friend Sparky?
Here I am! Achoo!
Look at all the great knights that froze when you sneezed. Where were you?
Sorry I was late. I had cold feet.
What? What are you talking about?
You know, cold feet. Nervous? It's a joke. Nah.
Oh, Sparky, have you been reading that old joke book again?
Oh, yeah. I figured I'd better brush up on some jokes about the cold. After all, everything is cool here at North Castle, thanks to me and my sneezing.
Everything is cool over here at North Castle, including our royal musicians. Let's hear from them right now.
Greetings and welcome to day 2 of Vacation Bible School. I'm Knight T. This is my apprentice Kay, and this is... What? Where's Sparky? Have you seen Sparky?
No, not at all.
Have you seen Sparky? No? Well, maybe you can help us find him. Help us yell his name and see if we can get him to come out. Sparky! Oh, Sparky!
Here I am.
Oh, there you are. Where have you been?
Well, I was sleeping. Achoo!
God, you and those sneezes. Taking a power nap, huh? Well, you're just in time to help me remind our knights in training of our castle call-out from yesterday. Do you remember what it was? Armor up with truth. Do it with us. Armor up with truth. Fantastic job. Today we are going to be learning about a boy named David who has to fight against a giant man named Goliath. So you know that David had to armor up. But before we get to the Bible story, we're going to do some music. And before we do that, you know what time it is. We have to learn some dance moves. So here it goes. You stand before me with your shield and your sword. Can you do that again? Goliath has a shield and a sword because he's a big warrior. You stand before me with your shield and your sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord. Now to do Lord, we're going to make an L with our fingers and start at our shoulder and come down to our hip. Ready? Put that together. You stand before me with your shield and your sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord. Awesome job. The next part goes, hey, hey, Goliath. So we're going to put our hands on our face like this, and we're going to look to the side. Hey, hey. Good. Do that again. Hey, hey. Excellent. And when we say Goliath, we're going to point to the ground, and then up to the sky, and back down again. Good. Put those together. Ready? Hey, hey, Goliath. Yes. And then when we say, whoa, whoa, we're going to look from the ground up to the sky, because Goliath is so big, we have to look all the way up to see him. Ready? Let's try putting all those moves together. Hey, hey, Goliath. Whoa, whoa. That's right, you got it. How about we practice it a few times so that we're ready when it comes up in the song? Ready? Here we go. Hey, hey, Goliath. Whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, Goliath. Whoa, whoa, hey, hey, Goliath. Whoa, whoa, one more, hey, hey, Goliath. Whoa, whoa. Excellent job, knights. I think you're ready.
Shield and sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord. Yeah, you stand before me with your shield and sword, but I I stand before you in the power of the Lord, yeah. Hey, hey, Goliath. 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 If only you knew. You think you're fighting me, but you're really fighting too. The battle's not mine, it belongs to the Lord. Greater is the one who's in me than any in the world. So you stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord. Yeah, you stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the power of the Lord. Yeah. Hey, hey, Goliath. 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 Go ahead and laugh. I got a couple pebbles hidden in this bag. When I raise my arm, when I start to swing, I'ma knock you out with just a rock and a sling, yeah. You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord, yeah. You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the power of the Lord, yeah. Hey, hey, Goliath. 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 Stand before me with your shield and hey, hey, Goliath. Stand before you with the name of hey, hey, Goliath. Stand before me with your shield and hey, hey, Goliath. Hey, hey, Goliath.
Great job, musicians and knights. Now feel free to chill out. Armorer, could you check my wing?
Oh, sure, Sparky. Aw, man, did Frost bite your wing again? Frost is the king's dog.
He sure did. Now I have frostbite. Get it? Ah!
Unfortunately, I do. But guess what? I found another riddle for the king's armor. Remember, these riddles are written in ancient dragon language. Look.
And I am the only one here who can interpret. Let me see what you have. This one says, if the breastplate of justice is what you seek, look for 5 pebbles in a creek.
The breastplate of justice must be another piece of the king's armor. To find it, we must find 5 pebbles in a creek.
Well, around here it would be 5 pebbles in a frozen moat.
I think the riddle is trying to tell us where to read in the king's book. Well, looking through here, I see that people gathered 12 rocks after crossing a river. But that wouldn't be it.
There was a boy who had 5 loaves of bread. I've eaten some bread that was just about as hard as a rock.
I've got it. There's a story in 1 Samuel about a boy who gathered 5 stones. Maybe that's it. Let's look inside the king's book and see if the royal players can help us find out.
Greetings, brave knights. I am Knight Alicia. Welcome back to the castle library. I see a little Sparky flying around the library today. Each day he's going to fly around our castle library, so make sure you pay attention tomorrow to see where he lands. Sparky, what are you doing up there? Oh, you're reminding us about our Armor Up for Truth lesson from yesterday, where we earned the belt of truth. And this was about the mean King Nebuchadnezzar, who was putting Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in a fiery furnace because they wouldn't worship the golden statue. But remember, God came with them as an angel and protected them. And God protects you in hard situations and keeps you safe and gives you strength and power to get through the tough times. That's right. Well, today we are learning about another story in my favorite book, the Bible. And we are again in the Old Testament in 1 Samuel 17. We're reading about David and Goliath. And today our story is in poem form, and I'd like you to follow along. There'll be action, so pay attention. King Saul and the Israelite army stood on one mountain, and the Philistine army stood on another mountain. Down into the valley trudged the Philistine giant, a big bully named Goliath. Stomp slowly 6 times like a big giant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great job, knights. Goliath challenged anyone from the Israelite army to fight him one-on-one. If Goliath won, the Israelites would have to serve the Philistines. But if an Israelite challenger won, the Philistines would serve the Israelites. Everyone waited for someone else to step forward, but no one did. They were all terrified. Can you pat your hand on your chest like your heart is racing really fast? Ooh, my heart goes really fast when I'm very scared. Then a young shepherd boy named David came forward. King Saul told David he was too small and no match for the big bully Goliath. But David insisted that God had protected him from lions and bears when he was a shepherd, and God would protect him against the bully Goliath. David then picked up 5 smooth stones. Clap your hands 5 times, knights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great job. When David went out to meet Goliath, the giant laughed. Ha 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 ha! Let's hear your giant laughs. Ha 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 ha! But David took one of the 5 stones, placed it in his sling, and struck Goliath right in the forehead. Goliath fell to the ground. When the Philistine army saw this, they were very scared and ran away as fast as they could. King Saul and the Israelites cheered for David, who, with God's help, stood against the bully Goliath. Have you ever heard of or seen bullies? Bullies are people who can make us feel very small and alone. In fact, sometimes bullies do pick on people who appear to be all alone. So who was the bully in this story? That's right, Goliath. Very good. Goliath was bullying the Israelites by insulting them and their God. And Goliath was humongous. Some think that he was even 9 feet tall. But one person believed in God's justice and went out to face Goliath. And who was it? That's right, David. Very good. My son Andrew created another great Lego depiction of the story today. So you see how much bigger Goliath is. He has his huge shield and his huge sword, and he's super tall. And even though King Saul offered the shepherd boy David his armor, David said, "That's not going to fit me. All I need is God and this sling and some stones." And so David went out and fought for justice and was able to defeat the bully Goliath. I would love to see your amazing Lego creations. So make sure that you're creating your own Lego versions of the story and then take a picture and send them in. So we have the bully Goliath, we have David, but who else can't we see but we know is there? That's right, God. Jolly good, brilliant knights. David wasn't alone. God was there showing us, as God so often does, the best way to handle the situation. God didn't stand against Goliath so much as God stood with David. Did you know that by simply standing with the person who is being bullied, you can help out? If you stand with a person and wait for the bully to go, or walk with the person who's being bullied to get a trusted adult, you can help stop bullying. Make sure you report bullying to a trusted adult. So remember, it's not about who you stand against. It's about who you stand with. It's about what you stand for. Knights of North Castle, who is willing to take a stand right now for what matters? Will you stand together for one another? If so, say yes. Will you stand for truth and justice? If so, say yes. Let us shout our castle call out for today. Armor up with justice. Great job, knights. Huzzah! I'll see you tomorrow for another story.
Wow, that was one epic battle, and that answered our riddle about the 5 pebbles in the creek. Have you seen Sparky? Sparky! Sparky!
Is it over? Was the giant defeated?
Yeah, where did you go? Are you afraid of Goliath?
Of course.
Well, so were the Israelites. I bet David would be a big fan of our banner verse. Remember, it's Ephesians 6:10. Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power. And now is our time for our castle call out for today.
Hi Knights, it's time to learn your next castle call out. Armor up with justice. Do it with me. Armor up with justice.
Hello Knights, welcome back to Castle Crafts. I'm Miss Terry and I've got another cool craft for you today. This craft isn't too hard, but it takes 2 things, time and patience. So make sure you do this when you have a lot of time. Now, let's practice our patience right now because I am so excited to talk about today's quest. Sparky told me you guys were looking for the breastplate of justice. Breastplate, that's an important part of armor because it covers up your heart and your lungs and a lot of things that help to keep you healthy and alive. So I'm glad that you guys are looking for that. He also told me that today's story was David and Goliath. I've heard that one a lot of times, but I'm trying to remember how heavy was that armor? Oh wait, that's right. He didn't have any armor on. He had the protection and the strength of God, so he wasn't worried about having the armor. He stood up for the truth, so he had the armor of God with him. Now, for you, that means that when you stand for the truth, God will be with you and standing right there with you. That doesn't mean that you don't need to use hand sanitizer or bike helmets or masks. God wants you to use those things that protect you. But it does mean that when you're standing up for the truth, God is going to be right there with you. So let's get back to our craft. Knights need armor, but they also need something else for protection from when they're sleeping and from the rain, and that is a castle. So today we're going to make this really cool mosaic castle with these puffy glittery stickers and the square stickers. So this craft, again, it's pretty easy. You might need a little bit of help getting the stickers off, but basically all you have to do is peel the sticker and you stick them right on top of the dots. If you can put the square stickers, like this little square sticker, right on top of the square spaces like this. And you fill all of the little dots. Now, if you make a mistake, these are pretty sticky, so you can pull them off and stick them back on. So when you get done, your castle might look something like this. And you can follow the color guides, or you can make it exactly how you want. You can also draw little pictures in the clouds if you want. So remember to send in these pictures of you with your cool castles, because I would love to see those. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome back, Knights. We are so glad that you could join us again today while we practice armoring up with justice. Today's story was from the Bible. It was from 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 1 through 50. And it was the story about David and Goliath and how David had the courage and the faith because of God and because of his relationship with God to be able to fight Goliath. So we're not going to be fighting Goliath today, but in our science demonstration today, we are going to be making catapults. So these are really fun, and you don't need a lot of supplies for them. So the first thing that you'll need is either some craft sticks, or you can use pencils. You're going to want some rubber bands. I'm using plastic spoons for mine, but you can also use things like a plastic bottle cap will work perfectly. And then in order to test your catapults, you might want some plastic or paper cups, as well as some different balls. So we have a floof ball, we have a golf ball, ping pong, little size guys, and a marble as well. So remember, before you test out your catapult, make sure that you talk to mom and dad or your family first to make sure that you have a safe space to practice. So in order to make my catapult, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my craft sticks. Now I'm going to make the simplest version of a catapult today, but we want to challenge you to try to create a bigger and better catapult than I create right now. So we hope that you'll spend some time practicing, and we hope that you'll spend some time being really creative. And we would love to see your photos and your videos of the different catapults that you created and showing us how your catapult works. So the first thing I'm going to do is for my catapult, and remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can try all different kinds of ways. I'm going to take 2 craft sticks as well as my spoon, and I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to take a rubber band and I'm going to go all the way around. I'm just going to keep wrapping until it's good and tight. Then I'm going to take a handful of craft sticks. So I've got 5 here. So I'm going to take 5 craft sticks and I'm going to rubber band them on either end so that they stay together. Okay. So then the side that's rubber banded with my spoon is going to go farthest away from my base, and I'm going to very carefully separate the 2 craft sticks, and I'm going to put the base part, in between. So I've got craft stick and then the base piece and then the other craft stick and the spoon. Then I'm going to push it in as far as I can. There we go. And this is my catapult. Because then what I can do is I can take and I hold the base just to make sure, and I'm gonna boop, and there it goes. So remember, you can try all different kinds of ways to make your catapult. Now catapults work through basic physics. So we have a couple different pieces here. This is called a lever. So we've got different levers here. So we've got one here and then kind of like one here. And then there's a fixed point at the bottom where they come together, and that's called the fulcrum. And so when you actually pull back the catapult and then release it, it actually releases with more force than you put into it. So it's actually really nice because it gives you more energy than you started with. So that is how we create our catapult. And when we look at our catapult and when we use it today, I hope that you remember that our relationship with God and our commitment to God helps us to be able to armor up with justice, just like David did.
Do you know what that sound means, Sparky? That means it's time for trivia. Let's see if you know the answer to these questions about what we learned in VBS today.
David went into battle against Goliath with the king's armor, a sandwich and an apple, a sling and 5 small stones, his best friend. a sling, and 5 small stones. To become a knight, one would first become a page, and then a whole book, squire, police officer, baker. A squire. Our banner verse states, "Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power, army, horses, iceberg." Power. Thanks for playing.
Excellent singing, knights. But I didn't ask. How did you do on your last quest?
Did you find the breastplate of justice? Or did you find the breastplate of just ice? Get it? Just ice?
Yes, I think we got it.
Just ice. It's funny because it sounds like justice and there's a lot of ice here.
Yes, thank you, Sparky. But we are talking about the breastplate of justice.
What is the breastplate anyway? What's justice? Are these things Roman soldiers had?
Great question, Sparky. This is a metaphor. It's things that are familiar so that we can understand things that are not familiar. Paul, the writer of Ephesians, used the breastplate as a metaphor. Remember, there was a lot of Roman soldiers around, so people would have understood what he was saying. The breastplate was the main part of a Roman soldier's armor. It would protect important parts of the body, like the heart and the lungs. When we talk about justice, it means someone might get a reward or a punishment for something they have done.
So when David defeated Goliath, that was justice.
Yes, God knows what justice is because he is perfect. God is just, so he can bring justice.
Last time we found the belt of truth, and this time we found the breastplate of justice. Those sound like two different things.
Actually, justice and truth go together just as a belt and a breastplate go together in a knight's armor. A soldier would need to put on his belt first before he put on his breastplate, just like we need to know truth before we can know justice.
This is really exciting.
It sure is. Great job, knights. This was the story about David and how God can bring justice. Now let's say the castle call out together. Armor up with justice.
Say it with us, knights. Armor up with justice.
And let's not forget our banner verse. Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power.